Hey everyone, I'm Matt. Welcome to my shop. Now it is Easter Sunday today and it is raining. It's raining for the first time in a couple of weeks, and so for the first time in a couple of weeks I'm taking a day off from my drone work to tinker in my shop. And today I'm going to be tackling a project that I've been procrastinating on for 2 years maybe? I don't know, it's been quite some time. This is a battery-powered Warn Pullzall winch. I have 2 of these. They've been a very useful tool for me over the years. I carry one in my Samurai when I'm four-wheeling, and even though it's got a relatively low capacity, it's a very useful tool. With a snatch block on it, it'll pull a couple thousand pounds, and it's often enough to get you unstuck from a bad situation. Unfortunately, the factory batteries in these things suck. They suck bad. I have 4 batteries. They're very expensive to replace. They're $400 each from Warn. I can't find any third-party replacements. And all 4 of my batteries are in various states of disrepair. One of them still works mostly. It'll pull for about 3 or 4 minutes at a reduced capacity and then it stops working. The other 3 essentially don't work at all. I mean, they'll power up, but they have no power at all. 2 of the batteries had rusty screws on them, you can see here, but they have never been stored in any kind of damp environment. My shop has always had a dehumidifier in it. So I disassembled one of them, and this is what I found. What a mess. Well, these are nickel metal hydride packs. That mess that you saw there was a series of 20 sub-C cells. There are 2 amp hour cells each. They're wired in series, it's a 24 volt pack, and the electrolyte is leaking out of the batteries and has just made a real mess inside of the pack. Fortunately, everything in there is plastic except for the wiring. So I'm gonna disassemble this pack, clean it up, and rebuild it with new components today. Now to do this, I'm going to be using my battery spot welder. I've had this for many years. It's been a pretty useful tool for me. Basically, there's a big capacitor bank inside of here, and the capacitor bank charges up slowly with the supplied power adapter, and then it's got a little spot welding tool there. When you press down, it spot welds the nickel strips to the batteries. Now from Amazon, I ordered these 3 amp hour sub-C cells, so not only should I be repairing this, but I'll be upgrading it by 50%. So these weren't very expensive. I believe $30 or so for this pack right here. And these ones actually have nickel strips already tack welded to them, so I'll be utilizing those and then cutting off the ones that I don't use. All right, first things first, let's clean up this mess. All right, off to recycle these in an appropriate manner. $20. had a small repair to do here. The green wire that was running there broke off of that tab, and the corrosion had worked its way all the way down the wire, so I couldn't just trim the end off of it and re-solder it on there because it simply wouldn't take solder. So didn't have a itty-bitty green wire like that, whatever size that is, 20 gauge or something. So, but I had this blue wire. So we're going to tin that and then solder it to this little tab here. Perfect. Well, this fits in here okay. Let's see if I can. Alright, well that was a pain, but I think I got everything in here the way that it's supposed to be and safely routed and soldered together. See, I need to be clear of that little post right there though. Seems like it's all going together in one reasonable piece. That thing operates. Let's put some screws in it. I think I'm going to just assemble this one pack here. Throw it on the charger, make sure it's going to work. This was the worst of all of them. I mean, this was the one that had definitely the most bleeding going on, so I figure if I can salvage this one, I should be able to salvage the other three. One note on this, I kind of forgot when I was tearing these apart. I had 2 of these packs rebuilt by Batteries Plus Bulbs many years ago. Must be at least 8 or 9 years ago. And this was one of those packs, so I don't know if we should be condemning Warn quite as much. I mean, this bleeding pack here was a Batteries Plus Bulbs one, so. Well, the red light is charging, so I don't know, I think I'm going to let it charge with me out here, just in case we end up with flames or something like that, but I actually have a pretty good feeling about this. I think this is going to work just fine. I'll get the battery plugged into this thing. It does power right on, so that's not quite a good enough test. I want to basically put it at its capacity. I've got this spruce log, part of a tree that fell down during our last windstorm. I have no need to move it anywhere, but I think I'm going to go ahead and grab a hold of it with the Pullzall and see if I can drag it back here a few feet. That ought to be right at its capacity. I'm just going to hook it right here on the box blade on the tractor. I think that's probably enough anchor. Anyway, that ought to be right at the limit of the Pullzall, so we'll test that new battery by loading it to the max right away. This thing is pulling hard. Not too confident in my anchor point over there on my box blade. I see some deformation, so rather than put my kneecaps at risk here, I think we'll call this one a success. I'm going to let off this winch. There's no reason for me to drag that log anyway, so Okay, well, that is definitely a success. It has restored like new performance to the Pullzall, and if those cells live up to their advertised capacity, it's essentially doubled the capacity of the battery. Not doubled, it's added 50%. So I had 2 amp hour batteries before, and I upgraded to 3 amp hour batteries. So yeah, definitely a success. I got enough cells to rebuild one more pack, so I'm going to do that. I have a few extra cells left over, but I'm actually considering doing a maybe 3D printing a holder for some 18650 lithium cells and seeing if I can convert one of these to lithium. So that will not happen this video, but if I do it, I will be sure to set up the cameras. I'm going to call it good there. Thanks for following along, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.